All right, so in the never-ending cycle that has been the casting for Lanterns, let's talk about our second official casting. Actually, both castings kind of became official just recently, but our second unofficial casting, as we have gotten our second Green Lantern, technically our third Green Lantern in this DCU. But first things first, James Gunn on Instagram and Threads and whatnot has actually confirmed that Kyle Chandler is going to be playing Hal Jordan in the DCU. So that is an official confirmation. We don't have to speculate about that anymore. I know that we had done videos about it, but that was because the Hollywood Reporter had been reporting it in Deadline, and so we took that to the bank. But, the story of Lanterns, as it had been reported, was going to be a story about an older, more veteran Hal Jordan leading a younger, more inexperienced John Stewart Green Lantern as they, uncover crimes and go about, solving an intergalactic, or maybe, sorry, not intergalactic, but an earthbound mystery that had intergalactic implications. And so John Stewart naturally became the next casting choice, and it really does look like this Lantern series is picking up steam because we have our official, and this is official, casting for John Stewart. James Gunn has confirmed this. It is going to be AARON Pierre is John Stewart. So, for those of you who don't know AARON Pierre, we'll talk about who he is just a little bit because I'm also a little bit unfamiliar with him, but I'm sure he's going to do great. And then we'll just talk about, the momentum that this is bringing for the DCU. It looks like Lanterns is really picking up to be that second live-action TV series. And we're starting to get a better picture. I've talked about this a little bit before in previous segments, but I think we are starting to get a picture of the DCU slate. So, first things first, let's talk about AARON Pierre as, not Hal Jordan, excuse me, I was almost going to say Hal Jordan. We've been talking about Hal Jordan so much on the Access Blockbusters pod, but no, as John Stewart. So, AARON Pierre, for those of you who don't know, he is 30 years old, so right away, he is about the age that actors like Chris Evans and Chris Hemsworth were when they first took their roles as Captain America and Thor, and that sets him up to be John Stewart for as long as he wants and as long as James Gunn wants, right? Because, let's be honest, right? And I understand for all of you guys who are out there saying, I'm really bummed that Hal Jordan is not going to be the main Green Lantern, because I'm sure that there are many people out there. I personally don't read many comics myself, but I know that there are many people out there who really love Hal Jordan and wanted to see him done justice, no pun intended, because, the only live action version we've gotten for, any extended period of time was Ryan Reynolds, and I'm sure there are many people out there who like Ryan Reynolds as Green Lantern, but even Ryan Reynolds doesn't like Ryan Reynolds as Green Lantern. So I get that. I totally get that, because it looks like Hal Jordan is not going to be Green Lantern for that long. And we got Kyle Chandler, who I believe is in his 50s, and he's going to be Hal Jordan. But John Stewart, on the other hand, looks like he is being set up to be the main Green Lantern in the DCU going forward. And so I think it's exciting. I get it for those of you who are disappointed about the Hal Jordan just being an older character, maybe not being the main Green Lantern, but I think that we should all look forward to seeing John Stewart a different, version, not a different version, but just a different Green Lantern, because there are many Green Lanterns. We even have Guy Gardner appearing in Superman, and I think it's exciting. I think that, they have all the potential in the world, DC, to make John Stewart a really memorable character. I mean, I think we should, I'm including myself in this, we should all be open to the fact that just because it's not the Green Lantern that we envisioned, the Hal Jordan version, I think that, having John Stewart as the main Green Lantern will be a really, awesome choice, just depending on how this series is written. So, a little bit more about AARON Pierre. So he's 30 years old. He's most well known for a show called Rebel Ridge, which I'm going to admit I haven't seen. I believe it's on Netflix, but apparently he is quite good. And then he was also in the show Krypton, I think. And so he has some minor experience with the DC universe. He actually was also going to be part of Blade at one point, and I'm sure his character was in some iteration of that draft. And whatever iteration that might have been is no longer the case, because he has since confirmed that he is no longer part of Blade. But it shows you that Hollywood has seen him as an up-and-comer, and even a studio like the MCU was also looking at him to play a part in their cinematic universe. So that's also encouraging to see. But actually, most notably for me and for this channel, is he's going to be in a movie that A, he's not even going to be in, really, and B, hasn't even come out yet. But it's still notable that AARON Pierre will star in Mufasa: The Lion King, which will be coming out in December 2024. And he, like I said, is not physically going to be in that movie unless something really weird and crazy happens towards the middle or the end. I don't know. The trailers make it seem like, no, he's just going to be voicing the young Mufasa. And I'm sure he'll do a great job. But I think that'll be my first big exposure to him as an actor And obviously that won't even be, as an actor because he'll just be recording lines. But I do think that, I'm really excited because obviously how many of us had heard of Chris Hemsworth or Chris Evans? Mark Ruffalo, maybe to a lesser extent. Mark Ruffalo had some roles before he became the Hulk, but these are actors who really made names for themselves, taking on the mantle of iconic superheroes. Even Tom Holland, right? And so I'm excited because I think that this is an opportunity for Aaron Pierre to make his marks and stamp what am I trying to say? Stamp a role, I guess, in the DCU as his own and make it part of his legacy. And I think that that's really exciting. So I'm excited for him. I'm excited for the DCU. I'm excited for Lanterns. Now, like I said earlier, as we close out this segment, I think we're starting to get a better picture of the upcoming slate. And I think it's interesting that we're getting a better picture of these things just based on the production updates, because James Gunn has been pretty forthright with his production schedule. And I think that, he's been pretty open and frank about just posting updates on when things are going to happen and, what's going on with different projects. So let's just kind of run through this quickly, what we know for sure and what we're pretty much suspecting, or what's almost confirmed to be happening. So what we know is that Creature Commandos is going to be starting out the DCU. It's going to be an animated series. It's going to be coming out in December 2024 into January 2025. Okay, so that's the first project. Then Superman will be coming out in July 2026. So, and also just based on what James Gunn had said earlier, he said what we're going to try to do is 1 movie and 2 shows. And so based on that, I think we'll get Peacemaker Season 2 in 2026. I would imagine probably in late 2026 fall or even Christmas time 2025. So we'll get, the end of Creature Commandos in early 2025. We'll get Superman and we'll get Peacemaker Season 2 in late 2025 is what I think will happen. And then in 2026, it looks like we're really gunning for the Lantern series to be coming out probably, I would guess, in sometime in early to mid 2026. And then we'll have Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, I believe in June or July of 2026. And then it looks like, somebody asked James Gunn, have you made any progress with Paradise Lost? And it looks like we'll be getting that probably in late 2026 is my guess. Now, that's a little bit of a bummer, right? Because, and this is just what it is, right? I mean, James Gunn can only do so much in the time he's given. Unless he wants to make 6 projects a year, which has clearly not worked out. But the flip side to this is that, well, okay, so he announced a bunch of other things, and we know a bunch of other things are coming. We have Sergeant Rock that's coming out. We have a Bane Deathstroke movie apparently coming out. We have a Teen Titans movie coming out. We have Swamp Thing that was announced. We have Booster Gold that was announced. But these things aren't going to come until 2027, 2028, which is a little unfortunate, honestly. So I think it's good to get a big picture of the slate, but it's also a reminder that some of these projects are way far away. We're gonna have to let the DCU really start to kick into high gear, and then we'll see what happens from there. By the way, I think I misspoke earlier. I think I said 1 movie and 2 shows. I think he said 2 movies and 2 shows. So we'll see. Eventually, they'll probably ramp it up, and maybe Swamp Thing will come out in 2026 or early 2027. We'll have to see about that. But guys, what do you think about the casting of John Stewart in Lanterns? Do you like the casting? Do you think Aaron Pierre is going to make a good John Stewart? And, what do you think about the pairing of him and Kyle Chandler? I'm sure they did plenty of screen tests together, and I'm sure that they did great, and I'm sure that James Gunn has all the confidence in the world with this pairing. Let me know in the comments down below.